Come. Sit. Go get it. Eel. Go get it. Today on Ask Homesteady, I thought I would tackle the hands down most controversial subject on this channel. And I never really do that lightly because anytime you handle controversial subjects, it riles people up a real lot in the comments section. And it's just one of those stressful things as a YouTuber to deal, but you got to do it every once in a while. So today we're going to discuss something that has received more angry comments on our channel than anything else. And we've covered some serious topics. I mean, go get it. We've covered education and the failures of public education. That gets people worked up. Dogs. We've talked about dogs a ton on this channel, and using breeders and not using rescue dogs and training dogs, and that gets people pretty worked up. We've talked about health and nutrition and food and what we're putting in our bodies. But of all the topics, the most heated thing, look at that, deer hair. That's interesting. A lot of deer hair. Hunting, there's another topic we cover that is pretty controversial. Here, pups. Deer. That's deer. 150 plus comments in the last couple months. That's more comments about any subject ever on this channel. All about one tiny little insignificant, minute detail found on my upper lip. The mustache, guys. Oh man.
When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things it took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done.
Oh, we're at 4 weeks now? 5 weeks?
No, not that long. Maybe
Is the first trimester?
2.
Is it only 2 weeks for the mustache?
3 now.
I'm starting to feel it kick.
I could feel it in my bones. There was something going
You like the
on.
stash? I grew the mustache just so I would feel more confident giving shots to the cow. Got that mustache, he doesn't even pee on it.
'Cause darling, there is nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone. I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the
Never have I got so much hate comments, angry comments, people like threatening to stop watching the channel and unsubscribing because I grew a mustache. It was actually really funny. I mean, comments like this one, calling a mustache unsanitary. I'm not sure you could prove that scientifically. I don't know. Maybe you could. Maybe you know something. Click below. Anyway, yeah, I shaved the mustache. The mustache is gone. I did not shave it because of 150 angry mustache comments. I shaved it because I wanted to grow a mustache once in my life, give it a real shot, get some curly tips. I feel like I did that. I succeeded at my mission. Kay thought it was handsome, but not as handsome as clean shaven. And to be quite honest, as you can tell, like personal grooming in the morning is not the first priority. That's why I'm always wearing a hat, because my hair looks like that. And the mustache adds a whole lot of maintenance to your everyday routine, because you gotta you know, wax those tips and you gotta trim it so it doesn't look like, you know, Chewbacca's falling out of your nose. It's just a ton of extra work, and I have too much work as it is. So figured as a YouTuber, I couldn't every morning get up, come do chores, and also worry about, you know, caring for animals, gardens, weed whacking, and mustache trimming. One less thing to worry about. So for all you mustache haters out there, congratulations, the mustache is gone, and no offense taken. But can we now talk about some more important stuff on this channel, some like actual serious stuff and not just like facial hair? It's Ask Homesteady. Let's talk about some more important stuff other than mustache. We are going to cover something kind of controversial. Well, no, definitely controversial today. We're going to cover one topic. Mark and Bones. That is the first question we're going to get to in today's Ask Homesteady. As many of you know, Ask Homesteady's format has changed. We have gone to a more topical format where we pick one topic each week and then we dive into that topic at length. And I really like how that's working, and based off the comments, lots of you do also like how that's working. So we're going to keep doing that. But I did get one awesome suggestion from commenter Bill Rutledge, and I wanted to cover that first today, and then we'll get into a controversial topic. So Bill said, the in-depth 20 to 30 minute Ask Homesteady videos are a good change. However, I'm sure there are quite a few Ask Homesteady questions you get that do not require in-depth detailed answers, and a lot of viewers would like to have them answered. I suggest once a month you gather those type of questions and do a video called Ask Homesteady Quickfire. And I replied to Bill, such a good idea. This is happening lightning round. Oh, sorry, I gotta insert the lightning effect in the thunder. Let's try that one more time. Ask Homesteady, lightning round. That's what we're doing today. We're gonna gather up a whole bunch of questions I haven't answered from the last month, and we're going to answer those questions so that the ones I don't cover in depth at least get some attention, because I do want all of your questions to be answered, even if it's just in lightning round. So today we're gonna do a lightning round, kind of clean up a lot of questions that have been hanging over my head. And the very first one is probably the most controversial one. It's about clickbait. Ironically, this question about clickbait is in a video that people could legitimately cry clickbait for, because the title of this video is the most controversial thing on our channel. You know, we're talking about this most controversial thing, and you click it and you find out that it's a mustache, and that's not that controversial, and you might feel like you got clickbaited. But really, truthfully, the mustache, count the comments, it was the most controversial thing on our channel in like the last 3 or 4 months, however long I was growing that mustache. So it wasn't clickbait, because clickbait, at least the definition that I believe clickbait is basically the idea that you're baiting someone in for something that isn't really there. So your thumbnail shows a picture of something that is not at all in the video, and it's the reason people click it. You see this a lot. People use, you know, I mean, scantily clad ladies on thumbnails that you click on the video and there's no scantily clad lady, and a bunch of jerky, scuzzy dudes are disappointed they didn't see that scantily clad lady. I like that term, scantily clad. That's fun to say. But the idea that there's something people were looking for that you didn't cover. So if you call your video how to make money selling pigs, and then in the video you don't teach people how to make money selling pigs, my feeling is that is what clickbait is. And because this is lightning round, I'm not going to talk much more about what I think clickbait is, but I am going to discuss this one question about clickbait on the channel. Here's the question, slash actually it's a comment, but he did tag it hashtag Ask Homesteady, so I'm going to address it, and I'm also going to address it because this individual is not, in my feelings, in my definition, a troll. This is someone who actually liked Homesteady, supported Homesteady, and now no longer does because of what he feels is clickbait. So I believe his name is Eric. He says, I know this won't get mentioned. Sorry, Eric, you hashtagged it Ask Homesteady, so That's the whole idea behind the hashtag. I'm pulling my funding between me and my girlfriend for $10 a month because I cannot stand Austin's disingenuous clickbait headlines on the videos. I know it's been a known controversy over the last year. I feel like they should understand the people who support them already do, and trying to drum up support on disingenuous and false headlines is enough. And they, really he, are trying to gain more followers with clickbait than trying to nurture a genuine interest they are already bringing on this channel or people searching for the topic. So while they still move on with the channel, it'll be without the combined $10 a month we bring, because it seems like they don't care enough about people that brought them to this point to actually address the ongoing issue. I hope all is well, but enough is enough. So Eric, I did mention it because you did hashtag Ask Homesteady, and unlike the mustache, which has received 150 comments over the last 3 months, that is definitely controversial. That's definitely a hot topic amongst our audience. I did a search because I will admit that yes, in the past on our channel we have dealt with this issue of clickbait. The titles that I use, the thumbnails, there was a time period as I was growing on YouTube, as many YouTubers do, where I was trying to balance that line of giving an interesting title and thumbnail and clickbait. And a lot of our audience about a year ago was complaining about clickbait, and despite what Eric thinks, I actually do really care about what our audience thinks. So if a whole lot of people are commenting, hey, this is clickbait, like last year what was happening, I adjusted my methods. I took a hard look at how I was titling things and the way I was building our attention for our videos, and I adjusted things. And I know that that worked because I did a search in the comments, and in the last 6 months there has been an average of just 1 clickbait complaint per month. On YouTube, every video you make, somebody is going to just comment clickbait. It's like the guy who yells Freebird at a concert, Freebird! It just has to happen. That's clickbait on YouTube on your videos. But if your videos get 10 or 20 comments of clickbait, then you're probably doing it and you should adjust what you're doing. Or at least you're annoying your audience to the point where even if you're not clickbaiting, you should change what you're doing because you're annoying your audience. You shouldn't annoy your audience. But 1 complaint per month, 6 months, 6 complaints, I don't feel that we're doing a bad job with getting 1 complaint per month. But I figured I'd mention the comment, and you can comment below because Ask Homesteady, I read all the comments to all our videos, but this is a great chance for the rest of you guys to chime in and say, hey, Aust, have you been clickbaity? Have you been doing good? Have you been doing bad? And when you comment on that, remember, making a title that piques someone's interest is not clickbait. Movies do this, the newspaper does this, the television does this, bags of food do this, cereal boxes. You have to get people's interest in this world where we're just constantly being distracted by things like dogs running in the background. What clickbait, in my opinion, and if you look out the definition of clickbait, which I better just do, and then we can move on from clickbait because this is supposed to be lightning round. Wikipedia, let's see right here, the definition of clickbait is on Wikipedia, clickbait. Oh, well, actually, clickbait is a text or thumbnail link that is designed to entice users to follow that link and read, view, or listen to the linked piece of online content. No, I definitely do that. I want you to watch my video, so I definitely do that. Anyway, what I don't do is that bait and switch thing. So if you have a problem with that, me making a title and a thumbnail that interests people, then yeah, if you don't want to watch my videos, that's okay. But if you think I'm being disingenuous, if my titles are deceiving, chime in below, because I'd like to know your opinion, because in 6 months, only 6 people have complained of it. Don't think it's as big as a controversy as the mustache. That comment was on the video called Why I Didn't Want to Move to the PA Farm and Why I Finally Did. So yes, that title does get your interest. Why did Austin not want to move to the PA Farm? And then why did he? Yeah, that is a title and a thumbnail that, according to the definition of Wikipedia, is clickbait because it gets you interested in clicking. But that idea of it being disingenuous, bait and switch kind of thing where you click on it and then it's something else entirely, like, oh, Austin never really did not want to move to PA. No, that title was totally legit. I, for 10 years, was offered this family farm, and for 9 years, I said no. And we talked about why in that video, and that was the snippet that we shared for that week. So that title was completely about what that video was about. I wasn't faking anybody out. I really said no to this farm for 9 years. And we talked about why in that video. And if you're interested in learning the answer to that, you could click on that link right there. Clickbait! Okay, anyway, let's get into the next question. And by the way, don't hate on Eric. Eric's comment, he was a Homesteady pioneer. Like, him and his girlfriend supported the show. I'm not mad about his comment. If he doesn't like the way we do things anymore, then he should not be a pioneer anymore and pay $5 a month. The whole idea of the Pioneer program is to support this channel if you love it. If you don't want it to disappear, if you like the information we share, then support it by clicking on the link below or right there and becoming a pioneer and tell us, yes, I love what you do, keep doing it. And if, like Eric, you're tired of what we do, then absolutely don't give me money to make something you don't like. That would be like, I don't know, paying for cable television. The next quick fire question we have, and now we're gonna go quick here, is from Monica B. She says, would you consider getting a beagle on one of our dog videos? No, Monica, I would not. Beagles are good hunting dogs for certain types of hunting. They have incredible noses. My friend has a beagle mutt who's really good at tracking. I like labs because I want a retriever. Beagles are not really retrieving dogs. They flush bunny rabbits and you shoot the bunny rabbits. I want a dog who not only can find it, flush it, but also retrieve it, bring it back to me. The other day, Kay needed a hammer. I put it in Bone's mouth. I told him to fetch. He grabbed that hammer and I sent him off, and he took the hammer from the house all the way to the barn in the back where Kay was doing some fencing. That's the kind of dog I want. And the shepherd, well, he's my guard beast, that giant shepherd. But anyway, no, I wouldn't get a beagle. Barefoot Backyard Homestead, a frequent commenter on the channel, left 2 questions today. The first was, do we have any baby names / lists? So I'm just gonna talk about a few baby things. First off, we don't know what the baby's gonna be. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. We have only found out with one of our kids, that was number 2, because we had a boy and we were really anxious to know if we were gonna get a girl on number 2. And so we found out for number 2. All the rest of the kids, including number 1, were a surprise gender. We didn't find out beforehand, and we will not be finding out for this one. So we have 2 lists, boys' names and girls' names, and we never share those with anybody. Usually we share those with nobody because we don't really care about people's opinions on our baby's names. And people, before you name the baby, will say exactly what they think about it. And people after you name the baby generally will be polite and go, oh, that's a name. So our kids' names are rather different, and they get the first reaction before you actually have named a child that. Once we, just to give you an idea, had on a list of possible names for kids the name Pike, like the fish. And our dear friend Pike, and she went, like the fish? And we totally knew she didn't like that name. So that's why we don't really share names with anybody before the baby's born, and then after, well, after, people are usually more polite after you name the child and they don't go, like the fish? So we do have some baby names, but it is hard to name number 5 because you've used up like your 4 top picks. Next question. This is a funny one. Barefoot Backyard Homestead also asked, what does the other side of the workshop look like? Because we showed you the finished workshop side, and then they asked, I pictured the other side as just piles and piles of clutter. And well, Barefoot Backyard Homestead, let's take a look. I feel like nothing gets past Barefoot Backyard Homestead because they noticed that, yes, we showed the workshop side of the workshop, but we didn't show the before after of the other side. And yes, it is pretty full and messy. It's not as bad as it used to be. It is much cleaner, there's less stuff. But we have not yet finished that half because that half had a lot of things that we needed to move into the house. We've just about finished. We have one more day of moving things into the house, and then those shelves will clear up, and then we can finish that half of the workshop. So that half of the workshop still doesn't look great. Next question. Mike wants to know, is there a way to listen to your podcast without having a smartphone? They watch our YouTube channel on desktop and they don't want to miss out on the podcast. Good news, Mike. We will be putting all our podcasts here on YouTube, completely full episodes, because a lot of the fans asked for that. And again, we do care what the fans, that's enough. We do care what the fans think. So yes, you can watch the whole podcast. All the new ones we're creating, we're gonna film the entire video interview and put the whole thing here on YouTube. Most people like listening to them while they drive because they're quite long, and most people don't want to sit and watch me talk for an entire hour, especially if I have a mustache, even if I don't. But for those of you who don't use a smartphone, don't have a podcast app to listen to podcasts, and if you don't have an iPhone, you can still listen to podcasts. The dog is going to knock over my camera. There is an app called Stitcher, which can go on any kind of phone, Google Play. There's a lot of different podcast apps, even for Android phones. So if you want to listen to the podcast and you do have a smartphone, check out Stitcher app or Google Play and search Homesteady in there, and you will find our podcast. And for those of you who don't have any smartphones and don't listen to podcasts, but don't mind watching us talk for an hour and change, all the new podcast episodes will also have video. So that'll be a lot of fun if you like watching me talk for an hour. But this is lightning round. I'm not talking for an hour. Next question. Are you getting tired of that lightning bolt effect thing? Yeah, I can cool it off on that. I was just excited about, lightning round. Let's turn the lights off. Keep that energy bill down. The next question, I probably should have actually already looked at what the next question is. I don't know what it is. Let's see. The next question is, this is fun about lightning round. I don't even plan ahead. Kids are outside. Oh, hi, honey. Daughter's yelling from her window. This was an interesting one. Wannabe farm girl. Does poison ivy affect the taste of goat milk? I was just told that recently, and she wanted to know if I have a resource that I know of details of forage to avoid because of how it affects taste. What animals eat can absolutely affect the taste of their milk. So whether or not poison ivy affects the taste specifically, I've never had a goat get into poison ivy and then I taste the milk from that right after. So I cannot speak with certainty on specifically poison ivy and goat's milk. But what I can say is that goat's milk is very variable in its taste. Very easy to change the flavor of goat's milk based on what they eat, their forage. But even happens in cow's milk. If you remember the great movie Napoleon Dynamite, there's that scene where Napoleon is tasting the milk and he says, "This cow got into the onion patch." What animals eat can affect milk taste. So instead of worrying about all the forage to avoid your animals eating if you're going to milk them, what I would suggest is just focus on getting them the right kind of forage that they can have. Start with the goat on hay, because your good quality hay that you buy from a farmer is going to be controlled. It's going to be tried and true things that are good for that animal, and it will taste good. And then let the goat out into the poison ivy patch. And the next day, see if it affects your goat milk. And if it tastes nasty the next day, don't let it eat poison ivy again. If you let goats eat poison ivy, they're going to get it on their coat, and then when you pet them, you're going to get poison ivy. So they're not great poison ivy controllers in my experience. Next question. Oh, for this question, I actually need a tape measure. I'll be right back. How tall does Ladybug stand? Let's go measure, because to be honest, I don't really know. Back in. Bones. Pop up. The cows are warming up to me because I've fed them quite often throughout the winter, but they never really like new things, and this tape measure has the potential to completely freak Ladybug out. So if I break this camera because of your question about how tall Ladybug is, maybe you'll consider becoming a Homesteady pioneer and helping me replace my camera. Just kidding. Let's see if this works.
There is just no trust in you.
He does not like tape measures.
I will fool you. Cause you're never gonna get the best of me. Use you, I will use you.
Told you she'd try to break my camera. Alright, new idea.
You and I, we tried so hard to make it. You promised me that you would never leave. But time and time again, I knew you'd break it. You said, honey, it's just the nature of my being.
That was fun. As best as I can tell, she's about 48 inches at the back. And I'm not sure what the official spot to measure is. So maybe I'll ask Kay and put right here the actual number on her papers, her registration. But it looked about 48 inches, but as you can tell, she didn't really stand still. And the bigger point to this, and why I went through all that work to show you that I don't know her size, is because it's not that important. If you're shopping for a small jersey for your homestead, don't get hung up on a specific number. I think the number you had mentioned in your question, let's see, that was Lammy. She wants to know one who's 42, she's looking at one who's 42 inches, but Ladybug is the perfect size. So Ladybug's a little bit bigger than 42 inches probably, depending on where she was standing in the mud. But my point is, just find one with, you know, the traits that you're looking for. If you don't feel overwhelmed by the cow standing next to it, then it's a good size. If it is a big cow and you're a little scared, then it's probably too big. And if it's really small, well, 42 inches isn't that small, but if it's really small, you might have a hard time milking it. So just check out the cow. Does it feel good to milk? Ladybug is not she's a mid-sized mini. She's not a full mini jersey. Luna is a full mini jersey. And they're both great cows. And the way we feel is kind of like, you know, don't get hung up on a one specific, I need a 43.5 inch cow. Just find something you feel comfortable with, because as you can tell, I don't even know the size of Ladybug, and I think off the top of her head, Kate probably wouldn't either. We'll find that out later. Diana wants to know, are you going to do any gardening this year? This is a question I get asked all the time, despite the fact that I've made it clear I don't like gardening. But that's okay, Diana, because guess what? We are gonna do gardening. Because in life, you have to do all kinds of things that you don't like to do, like, you know, pay taxes and, I don't know, use public restrooms. I don't know which of those two things I like worse. Yes, we're going to garden. We have 3 raised beds on the property, and mainly we're going to garden with our kids. Each of the older ones will get their own raised bed. We'll plant things they like to eat. We'll plant things we like to eat. One of the best things you can do if you're going to do your own garden and you're new at it, don't plant stuff you don't like to eat. I don't like eating tomatoes, but I do like eating salsa, so I might plant some tomatoes if I'm going to turn them into salsa, or thin slice them on a burger. Those are the only 2 ways I like to eat tomatoes. Mostly in my garden, you will find us, well, it won't be my garden, because I don't really like gardening. It'll be the kids' garden. Good way to teach the kids and, I don't know, feed the family. Morgan, ask Homesteady, how do you deal with fleas and ticks on your indoor/outdoor dogs that are barking right now? Good timing, guys. We have tried the collars. The collars are tough because they like to play and they pull them off of each other. So what I'm gonna try this year is the pill that you can give for fleas and ticks. They're barking like on command. This is great. We've tried like natural sprays. We did a natural fly spray, bug spray test back in the, well, last year, I think in the summertime. You can watch that video. Just search fly spray on our channel and you can find it. I've never seen natural sprays work that good for that long. So for our pups, we do need the tick control because they are field dogs and they get covered up in ticks. We're gonna try the pill because it doesn't get popped off. It's I think a once a month pill, but I haven't tried it yet. But the breeder that I work with, he says that's the way to go. So that's what we're gonna try this year. Next question. Homesteady viewer Ashna wants to get goats, and they in particular want to get just one Nubian goat. Yeah, it's about time you showed up. And then they want to get some Nigerian dwarf goats. And they want to know, is it okay to just have one big goat and one small goat? or should you have multiple Nigerian dwarfs? And Ashna, again, this comes down to more the animal than the breed or the line, because in the past, let me get this straight for you, Ashna. In the past, we have had just one large goat and one small goat. And that worked great because that particular goat was not a domineering queen of the herd. But if you get a real domineering queen goat, she can beat on that little goat and it might not work. So if you get your Nubian, who you get her from, ask those questions. Watch her in the herd. Is she the dominant queen goat there? If she's not, the minute she moves to your place and she's the only goat she's going to be, maybe suddenly she will become a dominant mean queen. And if that happens, you're gonna need another Nubian her size, because if you stick it with a Nigerian dwarf, she's gonna beat on that thing and that will not be a happy goat. Lacey is not a domineering, mean queen. Lacey is a nice queen. She's also not very dominant. When we brought over Kay's aunt's goats, she was no longer the queen for the short time Kay's aunt's goats were here. So her nature is pretty good. I would have no problem putting a Nigerian dwarf in with Lacey, as we have done in the past with other La Manchas and other Nigerians. Or other Nubians, sorry. But it won't always work. So what should you do? First, you should never own only one goat. So if you're planning on buying a Nubian and then like you're gonna wait a week or two or even a day to get the other goat, don't do that, because we did that once and the goat escaped and ran 4 miles to find another goat herd over the hill. It was crazy. You always need at least 2 goats. This is bare bones minimum, and it's only because they're both bred and they're gonna have more. Otherwise, I'd have a third here right away. So at least have 2 goats, and maybe it would be easier for you if you don't know the way that one Nubian's going to be. Maybe get 2 Nubians. You don't even need to milk both of them if you don't need the milk. You don't need to breed them both. It could be a wether if you're looking to save a little money. Just get a male that's been snipped. You can get wethers usually for the cheap. So get 2. Hello. If you already have a couple Nigerians and you're going to add 1 Nubian to the mix, that will work better. But until you know that that goat is going to be kind, make sure you have a separate place to keep that goat, because if it starts wailing on your Nigerians, you're going to need to put it in a separate paddock. And if you don't already have a separate paddock, you're going to be in trouble. So infrastructure first. Hope that helps. Might work for you, might not. It's one of those things, depends a lot on the animal. Wait and see. Well, that is it for today's Ask Homesteady lightning round. If you liked this, let us know below. If you didn't like it, let us know below. We will read your comments. If you like the idea of the lightning round to cover a lot of questions that we've missed this week, a lot of different topics, it's kind of like the old Ask Homesteady, but it covers more quickly, and we're only going to do it once a month, maybe once every 2 months, something like that, to kind of clean sweep the stuff we missed. That way at least your comment gets addressed, even if it's just quickly. Hi, buddy. So I'm making a video. Oh, you got an owl. I like it. So also let us know about the other stuff we talked about. We like your comments. That's why we do Ask Homesteady. And if you like that we do Ask Homesteady and you like our channel and you actually like what we produce and you're not mad about our titles and thumbnails, consider clicking here to become a Homesteady Pioneer. It is the only way we can do this show. We do not make enough money from YouTube, AdSense, from any of those other things to be able to do this show 5 days a week for you.
Daddy.
That's awesome. So if you want us to be able to keep doing this, answering your questions and making these videos, click there, become a pioneer. It's the only way we can do this channel. Thank you if you already are a pioneer, and we will see you in tomorrow's video, which will be a preview of the next podcast where we get into moving on to this homestead. Yes! It was the mustache! That's a fertile mustache right there.